to another edition of Pioneer with Poncelet with me, Kevin Poncelet, KPonceMTG on Twitch and Twitter. We're not going to keep this hand, but we are playing Boros Knights. Mostly white, but we're splashing red for Fervent Champion, Javier Dominguez. That is, it's his invitational card, his World Champion card, and Inspiring Veteran, which is a Night Lord. We're going to keep this hand. It's pretty good. And we're going to bottom, I think, History of Dominaria here. We have a 3-drop already. We don't have our 3rd land yet. Actually, Knight of the White Orchid is not very good on the play, and we're on the play here, so we're actually going to drop Knight of the White Orchid. Alright. Play our Bodyguard. This deck is looking to be very aggressive. Get out of the gates fast and get your opponent dead as soon as possible. Similar to like just any kind of human strategy in Pioneer, any kind of aggro strategy really, but this deck can really go wide and quick. We're actually going to name human and not knight because all our knights are actually also humans, and we have a human soldier that's not a knight in our deck, so it's actually slightly better to name human even though this is a knight's deck. Arboreal Grazer, tapped Fabled Passage. Interesting. I'm not really sure what our opponent's up to here, but we're just going to play Thalia's Lieutenant and get in for 3. Now I kind of wish we left that Knight of the White Orchid in our hand because our opponent's going to have more lands than us after this turn most likely. No, they missed their land drop. Alright, well, here we get to just pile on the pressure. Black Source. What is our opponent doing? Really unsure what we're playing against here, but it doesn't really matter when you're applying a bunch of pressure and your opponent missed their 3rd land drop. Tireless Tracker, got it. So it's some type of like Jund-esque strategy. I mean, they're definitely playing Jund colors, but Arboreal Grazer is weird. I'm going to go with Benelish Marshal so we can just keep on trucking here. Keep getting in there. They don't have any good blocks now. Besides, they can throw the Grazer in front of the champion. But yeah, it looks like they're just going to trade off. Go to 2. And I don't see much of a way out of this for them. They could have Languish. Nope. Alright. So our opponent is playing Arboreal Grazer and Tireless Tracker and black and green and red lands. Really don't know what's going on. Field of the Dead is banned, so I don't think they're playing that. But they're playing some sort of Jund ramp deck. In which case, I don't really know what we need to bring in against them. Like, they're very rogue, their build, it seems. I think we just want to go fast. I don't know if I want to even actually sideboard here. Deck and Stone can be good for Tireless Tracker. We're on the draw though, so I don't want to board out any of my Knights of the White Orchid. History of Dominaria does play pretty well against removal, and if they're playing Tireless Tracker and black, they're probably playing a decent amount of removal. So I think I'm just gonna run back the main deck here and see how we do. Alright, we're going to keep this. We've got a good curve. And Knight of the White Orchid is probably going to get us a land as early as turn 2. Well, almost definitely. Which is another reason, actually, even on the play with this deck, I think I probably want to leave knights in. Knight of the White Orchid, that is, because we have a lot of knights in this deck. Rootbound Crag, Tireless Tracker. You got it. Alright, our opponent had 3 lands on their turn 2. We had 3 lands on our turn 2. So we're keeping up. Fires of Invention. Whoa. Did not expect that. Okay. They're Jund Fires. Really interesting deck here. I think we want to get rid of this Vraska if we can. I mean, we can't because they can block, but I think we want to try. Oh, they're just going to let Vraska die. Okay. That seems reasonable to me. Fires of Invention. This could be bad. Tireless Tracker plus Fires is kind of a sweet combo because they're going to draw cards for playing lands and just get to play their cards for free and play multiple lands a turn, draw more cards. Yeah, this is kind of cool. I imagine this is a fairly good matchup because we go wide pretty fast, but I'm sure they're playing some sort of removal. Arboreal Grazer. Casting Arboreal Grazer? Why did they cast it? Alright. So I think I want to play the Lieutenant first here, and then the Bodyguard. Use this Bodyguard to save this Benelish Marshal again. Need to keep that one alive. And just swing out here. Gotta keep applying that pressure. Yeah, they're gonna block there, so we're gonna sack this to keep that alive. They're going to 3. And they might be playing like Thoughtseize or something, so I'm going to keep this card in my hand just so they might be inclined to try and cast Thoughtseize. Overgrown Tomb, trigger. Draw a card, trigger. Woodland Cemetery, trigger, draw a card. Anything good? Vraska's good. Hopefully not good enough. So we have 6 attackers to their 4 blockers. All of our attackers are dealing at least 3 damage. So if they go for the Benelish Marshal, we're just going to save it with the Bodyguard. And if they draw a card, then they might find some other way to not be dead. Yeah, it looks like they're just drawing a card, going up to 4, which is actually a big deal. If they find another blocker, ooh, that counts. Legion's End. Ooh, alright. So we really want to kill them next turn if we can, but we need to deal 1 more damage to do so. So we need to find some way to pump that Thalia's Lieutenant 1 point. Any creature, oof, literally any creature in our deck would have won us the game there. That hurts. That hurts. Now what's the move? I think we still just swing out. But yeah, literally any creature in our deck would have won us the game. So that's kind of a bummer. But we're still in okay shape here. They've got just Vraska left, plus the 2 blockers. We have 5 lethal attackers, so they still have to draw their way out of this. We know they're drawing Legion's End, which is pretty good, and that's going to get rid of 1 thing. But the fact that we sacked our Dauntless Bodyguard last turn means that it's only getting 1 thing. They can't get 2 things with the Legion's End. And that means, as far as I can tell, if they don't draw something else to do here, they're going to lose. Really interesting deck. They went for the Knight of the White Orchid, sure. Get rid of that first striker. Makes sense. Worth noting that we could not have saved it with the Bodyguard because this exiles. So I'm just F6'd here. So they sack their fires. Interesting. Because they have enough mana to cast a bunch of things, I guess. What does this do when it gets to 9? Deal combat damage to a player. That player loses the game. Alright. A new Vraska. Draw another card. Or are you going to kill something? Kill something, we still have at least 2 points coming in at you. So I don't think kill something works. Unless they have an instant. But I doubt their deck is playing instants if they're playing Fires of Invention. Generally decks with Fires of Invention are not trying to play a lot of instants, because when this card is in play, and it's usually like the main card that you want to have in play, if your deck plays this card, you play 4 of them, and it's like you're basing your strategy around this card. It says you can't cast spells on your opponent's turn, so alright, they're at 3. Believe we just swing out here and they're dead. Might as well cast a Venerable Knight. Unless they have a Fatal Push. No, they're just conceding. Alright, so that was round 1. Alright, hello and welcome to round 2 with Boros Knights. We're on the play, And we have 2 3-drops and only 1 land. We're going to mulligan this hand. It's a little too risky. We're going to keep this one and send back the unclaimed territory here. We get a nice little curve out. Not quite everything we need. I'd much prefer a Worthy Knight to this Inspiring Veteran with the Thalia's Lieutenant, because Worthy Knight makes human tokens whenever you cast Knights. So it gets a little crazy with Thalia's Lieutenant, making all those humans coming into play, pumping our Thalia's Lieutenant, or being pumped by Thalia's Lieutenant later on. So Worthy Knight and Thalia's Lieutenant work very well together. We keep that, bottom that. Play a Venerable Knight here. And then probably next turn play Inspiring Veteran, but we'll see how this plays out. We'll see what our opponent's up to and what we draw. There we go. Port Town, so probably spirits, probably blue-white spirits. Yeah, there's Mausoleum Wanderer. Usually we can get underneath spirits and it's a pretty good matchup, but we'll see how this plays out because they certainly have tools to slow us down, and we don't always have great draws. That's a pretty good one though. So with the Benelish Marshal, I think we want to lead with Inspiring Veteran here. Next turn we'll Marshal, and then hopefully the next turn we'll play Thalia's Lieutenant and another card. Hopefully a 1-drop. But maybe a 2-drop if we draw a land and a 2-drop for the next 2 draws. Either way. Hopefully we double spell on turn 4 and just provide too much aggression for our opponent here. The Spirits deck does have a tough time against a lot of 1-drops, similar to how, if you're familiar with the mono blue deck in Standard from last season, that deck had a lot of trouble with the mono white aggro deck that also happened to play Benelish Marshal and a lot of 1-drops. Kind of similar situation there. There's a Venerable Knight. So in this case we have the option of double spelling right now since they're tapped low, and then just having like a huge ground force for next turn for a big attack, and that might actually be better than playing the Marshal right now. So I think I'm gonna do that, just double spell right now, and I think we're gonna lead with the Knight to get more counters on it rather than lead with Thalia's Lieutenant. If we lead with Thalia's Lieutenant's a 2/2 this turn rather than the Venerable Knight not having a counter on it. Oops. Sorry, my opponent was just chatting, said, not gonna lie, wasn't expecting Knights for my 4-0 match, LOL. We're just gonna swing with the 3 big boys because they probably have Spell Queller here. And this is lethal. We're attacking for 11, so they have to make some sort of block. That's not a great block for them. Alright, they're gonna do something here. Petty theft. Ooh, okay. Alright. Alright. That plays. We're just gonna play Benelish Marshal. They might not have had Spell Queller, in which case, if we just had slammed Benelish Marshal pre-combat, we would have been in much better shape, but we're still in great shape here. We're at 17. Our opponent's very much on the back foot to our 5-4, our 3-3, and our other 3-3. This doesn't block non-flyers. Let's make it look a little nicer here. Alright, so I don't know what they could do. Like, if they cast something on their main phase, they might make this a 2-4, but like, we have the Inspiring Veteran. Oh, Gideon. Jeez. So I think we just attack here. They probably have the Spell Queller, so might as well make them cast the Spell Queller to just block rather than letting them eat a spell and a creature here. Yeah. Sure. And then they gotta jump the knight. Go to 4. Oh, the Spell Queller died? Oh, the Spell Queller dies because the Lord dies. Yeah. That's sweet. Yeah, they're just super dead. They're probably scooping here. Oh, no? Alright. Guess we'll play Gideon then. So yeah, they're like, we could have just jammed Inspiring Veteran into their Spell Queller, but we're so far ahead that just attacking is better, because we make them cast their Spell Queller, right? We make them cast their best card, their best possible, and just block before casting our spell, so they don't get 2 things out of it. But it's possible, because the Spell Queller was going to have to die there anyway, that casting the Inspiring Veteran might have been good. But yeah, they're just going to scoop. Okay. Alright, so we want the Deccan Stones. And History of Benalia is pretty slow. I don't really like that in this matchup because these creatures don't block. They're not really trading 1-for-1 for our guys. And since it takes 2 turns to be a Lord and just makes a couple dudes, it's pretty slow. I don't really like it. against spirits. And we do want some amount of removal, so we're just going to bring in 4 decks. And hope that that's good enough. Deck and Stone is honestly not great against spirits because it's sorcery speed and they have things like Mausoleum Wanderer that can counter it. But sometimes they Deputy of Detention your guy or Spell Queller your spell. And you really just need to be able to remove that to get your thing back. And it's a pretty big exchange when you can do that. Pretty important exchange. And Gideon's not great against spirits. I usually board Gideon's out in other matchups when I'm playing against spirits. But in this build, in this Knights deck, Gideon actually serves as an Anthem. A 4-mana, just boom, Anthem, and then keep attacking a lot of the time. And by Anthem, I mean all our creatures get +1/+1. They can't interact with that Anthem. It's an emblem. It just stays in play. So it's pretty strong. And generally when I'm taking out Gideon, it's because I'm playing a deck that doesn't care too much about the Anthem and is more interested in just making 2/2 Knights every turn. And against spirits, they have so many flyers that making 2/2 Knights and just losing your Gideon right away is just not a great trade. So we have a Knight of the White Orchid, and we have 2 1-drops. So it's pretty tempting to keep that. We have 3 1-drops. So it's pretty tempting to keep because if we find a second land, we basically find our 3rd land because Knight of the White Orchid goes and gets it. But because they're spirits, they could have Spell Queller counter this, and then we're stuck on 2 lands, which is all we really need in this hand anyway. But it's a little bit risky, obviously, because it's a 1-lander, and if our next 2 draw steps don't have a land, it's probably not going to be great. We do have a play to keep making every turn, but I'm going to mulligan because this matchup is good enough that I think we can just look for a hand that plays lands every turn. We're going to keep this one and bottom one of these Battlefield Forges. No Lord here, no power card really at all. So we're definitely going to need to draw something that adds power to our creatures. Looks like they've got a Spectral Sailor because they didn't play anything on their turn. Another Bodyguard is reasonable. I'm actually pretty happy with that. So next turn we get to double Savannah Lions after our single Savannah Lions this turn, and then the turn after that, hopefully Knight of the White Orchid for another land. There's their Sailor. And then potentially double 2-drop on turn 3 if we find another 2-drop in the next 2 draw steps. Unfortunately can't attack with Savannah Lions into Supreme Phantom, so this is kind of a bad spot for all these Savannah Lions. But that's a pretty good draw. We're just going to pay 2 life here so we can Bodyguard that, and then Bodyguard our Bodyguard, I guess. Opponent plays untapped Hallowed Fountain, signifying Spell Queller or an Abelgast Herald or a Rattle Chains and a Mausoleum Wanderer. It could be a lot of things, but the fact that they're not attacking with Supreme Phantom, I mean, it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense in the face of all these 2/1s. Deck and Stone. So we can play the Benelish Marshal here, and if they counter it, we can get it back next turn. So I'm going to go for the Benelish Marshal here. They'll probably have Spell Queller, but we'll see. Maybe not. They don't always have Spell Queller. Yeah, they do. But next turn, hopefully we can Knight of the White Orchid, get our 4th land, and Deck and Stone the Spell Queller. But we're definitely on the back foot here. If they have another Lord, we're in a lot of trouble. We're taking a lot of damage and likely dead on the following attack. They have a 4th land, and they're going to tap out on their turn for another Lord. No, for a Gideon of the Trials. Interesting. Huh. That's an interesting one. They plussed on Venerable Knight. Alright. That's fine. So now we're in a really good spot. Because we're going to 8, so we're not in like a really good spot, but we're going to 8, and then we're going to double spell this turn. Getting a land. Let's get a basic plains. Let's Deck and Stone the Spell Queller, just like we said when we sideboarded in the Deck and Stones. I mean, they could have like Dive Down or something. Let's cast that. Benelish Marshal. And let's get in there with the friends. Gonna attack them. Gideon's a little bit annoying, but honestly not that bad. Maybe we were supposed to kill Gideon, but like Gideon's gonna take care of one creature and dealing 6 damage to them, so that we might have lethal next turn. They might have to emblem Gideon here. Cracking a clue. Here's a Lord. Alright. So we're dead next turn if we can't kill them. So we're gonna need a little help off the top. And our Knight of the White Orchid can't damage them. Deck in Stone. Is that game? No, not quite, but it's very good. Get rid of this eagle. And we're gonna swing out. They have to chump with the Supreme Phantom. Yeah, it doesn't matter if we leave back the knight or not. Definitely a great top deck there, that Deck and Stone. Get that Worthy Knight out there and pass the turn. They're at 3. They have 3 cards in hand, 4 if you count the clue. Mutavolta blocker. But they'll kind of need to settle the wreckage, I think. One creature isn't going to do it. They're embleming Gideon. This way we have to send enough creatures at Gideon to kill it. But we can pretty easily send enough creatures at Gideon and them at this point, I think. They're tapping their Mutavault, so this must be good. Rattle Chains. And leaving 2 mana up for Selfless Spirit. Alright. So if they have a Lord next turn, they can kill us. So it's possible we made a mistake not killing the Gideon earlier, or at least attempting to kill the Gideon earlier. Really wanted to draw something there, but we've been pretty lucky with our draws this game. So if we send everyone at Gideon, they just attack back and win. We have to send some amount at them. With that Mutavault in play, this makes it pretty interesting. Yeah, that emblem is actually kind of tough here. Alright, so we're going to go to combat. If we send 2 things at Gideon, they have to block one of them. 3 things at them and leave back a Worthy Knight for the Mutavault. Or the Knight of the White Orchid, I guess. 2 things at Gideon. They'll block one of those. Then we have to leave something back, yeah, for the Mutavault. If they have a Lord, we're going to lose. They only have 1 card in hand. They can draw another card, though, with Spectral Sailor. Gideon, them, Gideon, them. So 2 things at them, 3 things at Gideon. That sounds about right. So if they have a Lord in their hand, they're just going to block with Selfless Spirit. Or just, chump something with Spectral Sailor and then just kill us. So we can't beat a Lord in their hand here. And the reason we can't beat a Lord in their hand is probably because we didn't prioritize the Gideon earlier. I didn't expect a situation like this, but well played from our opponent here. I wonder if we sent the Knight at the Gideon as well. And then 2 things at them. Yeah, no, then we were just dead. So we had to leave the Knight back. I'm pretty sure we did this the right way. They're going to make sure they don't die. They're going to let Gideon die. But they're going to keep the Rattle Chains and the Spectral Sailor alive. Killing our Dauntless Bodyguard here. So yeah, if they find a Lord, we're dead. They have 2 draws to find one. Got my concede button ready. Oh, 4 mana. Draw a card, alright. That wasn't it. Land. Well, they can play an untapped land and play an Empyrean Eagle if they drew that. I bet they drew Empyrean Eagle if they're playing that untapped. This is a bit of a sweat. Our opponent taking a long time to play. I apologize for the long pauses here, but these are some interesting combat steps. Well, they didn't just slam an Empyrean Eagle, so I don't think we're dead. Deputy of Detention. Interesting. Interesting. Get Benelish Marshal. Alright, alright. They go to 1. we swing out, they die. So that doesn't actually save them. Alright, they're dead. Cool. Might as well attack, I guess. Sure. I'm at 2. All right. Hello and welcome to round 3. We are 2-0, have not dropped a game yet with our sweet little red-white knights deck. And this hand is going to be a keep. It's a 4-lander, which is not great, but Worthy Knight with the 2 1-drops can get out of hand really quickly. Double Worthy Knight. Interesting. So I think I'm going to play the Fervent Champion. But next turn, yeah, definitely just play Fervent Champion, then play Worthy Knight, and then play Worthy Knight Dauntless Bodyguard, which is just going to be crazy. Blue and into blue, interesting. Maybe a Censor here. Censor would be annoying. Let's see how this goes. No blocks, nothing. Let's play Worthy Knight, nothing. Alright, opponent's just hanging out over there. Blue. For Psy Master Thopterist. Ornithopter. Okay. Alright. So they think they can go wide. I'd like to show them what I think about going wide. Interesting deck, though. We're playing against some sort of mono blue Psy deck. This could have some sort of combo in it with Aetherflux Reservoir. It could have, oh, it's blue-white. It might have like SRAM in it. Teferi, yeah, that's a card. Bounce Ornithopter, replay Ornithopter. Get another Thopter to go with your Ornithopter. Draw a card. Seems reasonable. Not really scared of Teferi though. Alright, can we do all the things we want to do? Getting a free land sounds kind of nice with the Knight of the White Orchid. But if we play it next turn, it might be even better on this Thalia's Lieutenant. And the 2 life is probably not going to matter much, so I'm going to play Worthy Knight first. Get some triggers. I'm going to play Thalia's Lieutenant. Get some triggers. So this is a sweet turn 4. Check out our board state right now. It's okay. It's not bad. I'm going to say it's pretty good. We're going to throw this over to this one, I guess. Probably should have thrown it to one of the Worthy Knights because we might want to save it. Yeah, they might double block the Dauntless Bodyguard. Yeah, that makes sense. That's fine. Dauntless Bodyguard down. They'll take a cool 11, it looks like. Go to 5. And good luck, opponent. Try and beat this board. I guess they could have Verdict. No, it's not a double white, so they're going to need to make a lot of Thopters here. No, they're just going to scoop it up. Alright. So it looks like Wear Tear is probably good. We can kill some artifacts. Don't really know what's going on, but Deck and Stone kills all the Thopter tokens, so we probably want those. History of Benalia, maybe too slow for this matchup. They might be like combo centric. I mean, this is interesting. I don't know if they're playing Supreme Verdict. They're just like a blue-white side deck with Teferi. Most likely playing some sort of artifact combo with like Emery and Mox Amber and some sort of way to untap all their things like Paradox Engine, Aetherflux Reservoir, that kind of thing. They might be just like a mid-rangey artifact-based blue-white deck, but that would be weird. It'd be more likely that there's some sort of combo-ish deck. I think we want the Deck and Stones. Maybe we don't need Wear Tear. Maybe we just want 2 Deck and Stone. Let's try 2 Wear Tear, 2 Deck and Stone, and I think we're going to cut 2 Inspiring Veterans and 2 of the Histories. I mean, History is one of those cards, like, you kind of want to play all of them if you're playing any of them. It's kind of interesting. I'm going to leave it like this. Inspiring Veteran's like the worst of our lords, because Benelish Marshall doesn't discriminate on what types of creatures it pumps, and neither does Thalia's Lieutenant. It pumps all of our creatures, besides the History of Benalia tokens, that is. Yeah, we're going to keep this. We have an interaction spell and a decent start, so looks good. Opponent Snap kept their 7 as well. Goes to 18 to play Witching Well. Scries to the undecided so far. Puts 2 cards on bottom of their library. Alright, we drew our 4th land. Not what we wanted. Excuse me. Fervent Champion, get out there. Glacial Fortress. So they are playing a fair amount of white. Renegade map. Alright, so they're definitely doing some sort of artifact combo thing. We're going to play the Lieutenant because we don't want to play a Knight of the White Orchid yet. We're on the draw here, and we really want to get full value out of that Knight. Knight of the White Orchid, I've talked about this a few times already, but when this card gets you a land into play untapped, it's just so good. It's just so good. It's just such a good rate. 2 mana, 2/2 first strike. Put a land into play. That's just busted stats. Uh-oh. How many 0 drops you got? None. Okay. That's fine. So this is interesting. This would be way better as Deck and Stone right now, although giving them a clue is an artifact, so it would turn on their Inventor's Fair. as far as gaining a life. This is an interesting spot because we can't double spell with the Knight at the moment. We can play Knight and History next turn, or we can play History this turn and plan for like the mid game. And then we play Knight and Benelish Marshal next turn if they play their 4th land, which they're likely to since they didn't have a 0 drop. It's likely they have another land in hand, and they can Renegade map for a land if they don't hit one. So yeah, maybe we just History here. Maybe that's the move. And we just pass. Not great that it doesn't combo with Thalia. We could have attacked with Fervent Champion first to try and see if maybe they don't block. There's definitely a world where they don't block the Fervent Champion. So probably should have attacked with it just to get in 2 extra points of damage. I do regret that now. It's a free attack. Like if they block, cool. If they don't block, great. We got 2 points of damage in. So they did search for another land. That means we're going to get to double spell next turn with Knight and Marshal. We played the Unclaimed Territory in case we draw another white source that doesn't make us lose life. Karn, Scion of Urza, you got it. Whoops. I did not even see what happened there because I was clicking the screen. But I put the island into their hand and the Sai into exile here, so that's cool. And yeah, it looks like we made the right choice of going wide here. So let's not play our land. Can't do that yet. Gonna play the Knight. Trigger. Don't forget your triggers if you're playing this deck in paper. Get that Plains. Play that land. Benelish Marshal. Make our dudes huge. Get that trigger. And bust in there. I don't know if I care about Karn. I mean, I think I just want to attack them with everybody. Yeah, I think we just attack them. Everybody at you. So they can just block the Fervent Champion. Take 8, go to 7. And then we're attacking for so much next turn. With the History going off. Yeah, this is going to be... Looks like another win for us, but I mean, our opponent has a whole turn here to figure things out. They can make some artifacts with some Witching Wells. Make a construct and make a Navigator's Compass for another Thopter. Gain 3 life as well. Interesting. Navigator's Compass. Have not seen that card in Pioneer at all yet. Alright. Knights get big. Fervent Champion gets out there. Wait. Make red with that. Let's play Bodyguard and keep our Benelish Marshal, I guess. And then wear tear their artifact. Their construct, they could sack it if they want. But we're coming in. We're coming in hot. We're coming in real hot. Alright, so where are we going with these? This one's gonna go onto this one, I guess. They're just gonna scoop. Okay. Alright, hello and welcome to round 4. We haven't dropped a game yet. And I'm gonna keep this hand on the draw. It's one too many lands, but we have a nice start of Venerable Knight into Fervent Champion. Our opponent's probably on the mono green Planeswalkers deck. Alright, yeah, drawing the planes here, not ideal. This bodes poorly for us because knowing that they're the mono green Planeswalker deck, we really need to apply a ton of pressure fast, and History of Benalia is not very good. Oh, they're Stompy. Alright, they're Stompy. We can go wider than Stompy, but we don't have good attacks here. So this isn't good. But our next couple turns of just playing histories might get the job done. It also might not, because Steel Leaf Champion doesn't really care about History of Benalia. It's Vigilance Knights that can't block it. The Great Henge. Oh no. Oh no. Alright, we're in a bad spot here. We're in a very bad spot. Turn 3 Great Henge. Never what you want to see. Oh wow. Oh goodness. Alright, we are totally hosed here. Wow, that is quite a turn 3. We cannot beat that in a million years. We're going to go to the next game. Hopefully they don't nut draw us next game, but we're also on the play here. On the play, don't like Knight of the White Orchid, and we do need all the decking stones in this matchup. Wear Terror can kill Great Henge, but if we just keep them off creatures, then we should be okay. We could bring in Boros Charm for a little bit more reach. We could bring in Gideon of the Trials for just shutting off one creature at a time, which isn't terrible, honestly, but I don't know what I want to board out for that. And I think the histories are good if we can keep them off the board. So I'm just going to leave the histories and leave everything else and just bring in the decking stones. If they're playing Questing Beast, which nobody's really been playing lately, then Gideon, Ally of Zendikar is pretty bad, but again, we can just use it as a one-time anthem. Gonna keep this hand. No removal, but it curves out, and as long as they don't have like a nutty start, we should be able to put a little hurt on them. It looks like they got the elf again. I mean, they play 8 of them. It makes sense. We're going to take 2 here in order to put... Oops. And get in there for 3. So with the Inspiring Veteran, we also can block Steel Leaf Champion with History. Well, a lot of elves. Alright, so they're looking to maybe block with some elves. Fatal Push. Oof. Rough. Rough times. They'll probably block here, huh? And I don't really want them to. We get a 3/3 out of the deal. Yeah, I guess we attack. They're probably going to block. No, they didn't block. Alright. That means they want all 6 of their mana here? That's scary. That is not a friendly thought. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, Decking Stone's a good draw. guess we'll name one of these knights. I think we want to pass the turn here because we're very likely to. They're very likely to play another spell next turn. If they play another Steel Leaf or Lovestruck, we can deck and stone all of them and attack for a lot. So yeah, just holding up here seems good. Another Mystic, so they got a lot of chump blockers. Getting in with the Steel Leaf, so we're probably gonna exile the Lovestruck Beast as it stands. Worthy Knight. Alright, Worthy Knight's fine. It's a little late for that, but it's fine. Gonna make it so they don't get any good blocks on any of our stuff by getting rid of the beast here. They do get to draw a card off this beast. Hopefully they don't hit anything too powerful. We're gonna name Human again. Gonna attack with everybody. They could double block some of our 4/2s. That's fine. Alright. Sure. Crack that clue. Using their elves to good effect here. Oh. That got weird. Alright. So yeah, we're gonna hopefully win with these 7. We have 7 power worth of creatures here. And our opponent just has 1. Henge. Hopefully. I mean, they can gain 2 life here. So swinging out doesn't really make a ton of sense. They're just going to go to 9 if we don't. If they whiff on a creature next turn. So they're going to 11. 11's a lot. If we swing out, they probably block the 3/3, go to 5. Well, really 7. Yeah, I think we just pass, unfortunately. And we wait for a Lord and try to, like, get them dead all at once. But the longer we give them, the more life they're going to gain. And the more cards they're going to draw off these creatures. Oh, no. No. Oh, no. That's such a busted top deck here. We have so many creatures in the graveyard right now. This is so terrible. Okay. Well, we needed them not to top deck really well, and they did. So it looks like our win streak has been put to an end. I do not think we're beating the Scavenging Ooze in a million years. That was a really, really, really good top deck from our opponent. And yeah, we're just going to go ahead and give it to him. Alright, hello and welcome to round 5. With our spicy little Boros Knights deck. This hand's sweet, we're going to keep it. We got last match by Great Henge, both games. We could potentially have beaten it in game 2, but they top decked the Scavenging Ooze, which was pretty gross. I think we're going to just lead with Venerable Knight here. Slightly worse in some situations, slightly better in others than Fervent Champion first. Since we have 2 red sources, and if we draw another Fervent Champion, we still can cast both. Leading with Venerable Knight. Dread Wanderer. Alright, mono black. I think we go wider than them, especially with double Worthy Knight. So if they don't have a fatal push for this Worthy Knight, things are going to get a little crazy. Yeah, we're going to lead with Unclaimed on Human. Play the Worthy Knight now in case, I mean, they don't have any 0 mana interaction, but get it out first. If they somehow kill this in combat, we get to put a counter on Worthy Knight. It is actually impossible in Pioneer for them to do that, as far as I know. Dread Wanderer hits me. Do you have the removal? Scrap Heap Scroungers. Fatal Push. Damn. Alright, that's alright. They did have the Fatal Push. Oh, and the Mutavault tapped for black because of the Urborg. Sick, sick. Alright, so easy Worthy Knight, Fervent Champion here. Just wondering if we want to play the Sacred Foundry or the Battlefield Forge. I think I'm just going to play the Sacred Foundry untapped. That might end up coming back to bite us, but it's likely fine. Since we're going to need a 3rd white source next turn anyway for Benalish Marshall, it kind of saves us, or it's like free, as long as we don't top deck a plains. Gonna get in there with just the Venerable Knight. Don't want to just lose my Fervent Champion for no reason here. I mean, it would get us in for 1 more point of damage, but that 1 point of damage isn't really worth it. Fervent Champion also blocks Dread Wanderer really well. I'm going to Murderous Ride down our Worthy Knight. Yeah, that's a good move. That is a good move. So this guy can block. So it probably will. Probably will block Venerable Knight. Put that on Fervent Champion. The first strike's nice. And we will cast another Venerable Knight here, going to 15. We are the aggro, as far as I can tell. 4 mana, they got Knight plus Murderous Rider. No, they're just going to pass, which means they definitely have another Murderous Rider or some other way to kill him. Benalish Marshall, or they're just hoping to pump a Knight. Alright, yeah, they're probably just hoping to pump a Knight. In which case, they get to eat Marshall. Drawing the land was pretty bad. I think they're looking to just pump Knight here. So I'm going to swing out. This could end up very bad for us. But this is 9 damage and they're at 10. If their move is just pump Knight. No, they have another one. Okay. That sucks. That means they eat our human. Fervent Champion gets big. Alright, but we're pretty dead here now. We needed them not to have another removal spell, and not attacking there wasn't going to win us the game. I don't think, after drawing a land like that. So, just went for it. They had another removal spell. Murderous Rider happens to be really good against us because it's also a 2/3 lifelink. That is actually reasonable here. If we attack and they triple block, doesn't matter. Yeah, we just attack. They don't have good blocks. They're probably just chumping with a knight. Yeah. This way, though, they get to gain 2 life with the Murderous Rider on their turn. Should have tapped differently for that to make it look like maybe we have an instant spell, an instant speed trick or something. Yeah, of course, we're going to take 2 here. They're going to gain 2 back up to 8. And they have another 2/3 to play if they don't have anything else. And they have 2 cards in hand. These adventure cards, those 2-for-1s are real good. Yeah, they're just going to pass, which is terrifying. I mean, I guess they can just pump Knight, so maybe that's their plan. Fire up the Mutavault. So yeah, they can block with Mutavault and then pump the Knight. Whoa. What are they doing now? Grasp of Darkness? Another one? The 3rd one? Sick, nasty. Alright. That is just sick. So many 2-for-1s. Alright. So, I mean, our hand was great. Our idea of just going really wide on them just didn't work out because they had Fatal Push plus triple Murderous Rider. That's a really weird attack. That means they had another removal spell in their hand. That's a really weird attack. Oh, okay. That was just a really bad attack. Alright, I'll take it. Whoops. Maybe they didn't realize Knight of the White Orchid has first strike, or that Fervent Champion has first strike. But either way, I'll take that. Take them where we can get them. Because we're in a rough spot here. They're just going to pass the turn again? Jeez, what is in their hand? Just nothing but value, huh? And we're flooding out. I mean, we had a decent mix of spells and lands coming up into this turn, but now we're drawing too many of those landos. And we're just going to pass. And they're just going to draw a card probably. Oh, going to 4 though. Going to 4 to draw that card. Casting a couple Murderous Riders probably. Now they want to hold up the pump on Knight. Thala's Lieutenant plays. It's a player. I was really close to scooping a lot earlier, but that really bad attack they made with the Murderous Rider does help a lot. Oh my gosh, they found the 4th one. That is all 4, friends. That is all 4 Swift Ends. But there are 2. So they can't be drawing cards anymore. Mogus Marauder. Interesting. They're gonna gain some life here. Gonna gain some life. Can't block that. It's gotta intimidate. Fervent Champ number 3 pumps the Lieutenant. It's not terrible. They still don't really have good attacks. So we're still not scooping, but they've drawn all 4 Murderous Riders, which have all been 2-for-1s. And it's going to be really hard to win this game. Sure. We need like History of Benalia, Gideon. We need stuff like that. Not land. We definitely don't need land. That's not a great one. Alright, we've drawn 7 lands. 7, 8, 9, 10 cards. It's not a great ratio, but it's not bad. Alright, so now we're just like dead if we don't block that. They can pump it twice. And we can't block it. Becomes a 2-3 now. What else you got? Dread Wanderer. Oh yeah, they have a Dread Wanderer in their graveyard too. They can bring that back. Scrapheap's Grounder, Trigger. Yeah, things are bad. That's a decent draw. We still don't have good blocks on the big boy, but they don't have any other attacks, and we can chump it until we find Gideon, History of Benalia. We need to like really just draw really well for the rest of the game though. Like crazy well. So we have 5 power with a first strike. They can just pump twice. Pump once even beats that. So we're just going to chump it since we're dead if we don't. Okay, we're going to go ahead. And we could have scooped a long time ago, but actually we were still sort of in the game even though they drew all 4 Murderous Riders. We were still sort of in that game, which is kind of cool. We drew 8 lands, 11 spells. Not the worst ratio. We're playing 22 to 60. I mean 22 to 38. So certainly not ideal, but certainly wasn't terrible. I mean, we just didn't get there. Deck and Stone we're going to want for their pesky blockers. And other than that, Gideon's okay. Getting into the trials. We're going to be on the play, although Knight of the White Orchid is just kind of good in this matchup because it has first strike and beats all their little things, but it's just an easy swap, and all our other cards are pretty good in the matchup too. I mean, we could trim down on Inspiring Veterans. They're probably our worst card in the matchup, but yeah, it's possible we're supposed to swap out the Veterans rather than the Knights because of the first strike. But veteran pumping our team is really relevant. Pumps our History of Benalia tokens as well. And that can end up being really important. It's kind of close between those. Yeah, Knight of the White Orchid blocks way better. I mean, we're going to be the aggressor in game 1. Or, I mean, on the play. We're certainly going to be the aggressor here. So, yeah, we'll bring him back in on the draw. We'll probably board out the Inspiring Veterans on the draw. Let's try and beat down. This hand is pretty medium. I think we can do better. 4 lands is a lot. That one's a keep, and we're going to bottom one of these lands, I think. This one is a much more powerful hand. Has a removal spell, has like multiple power cards instead of just one Inspiring Veteran, which is like an almost power card. It's like, it's a Lord, which is good, but it doesn't pump all of our creatures, and it's definitely our weakest Lord. Thoughtseize is good. If they Thoughtseized our Inspiring Veteran with that other hand, we were in a lot of trouble. They're probably going to take Worthy Knight, because then we just don't have a play next turn. Yeah. 2-drop, please. 2-drop. No, not good. Alright. This could be disastrous. Not having a play when you're extremely aggro deck, not having a play on turn 2 is extremely bad. So, yeah, especially if we don't draw a land next turn and draw another spell that doesn't do anything, we're in so much trouble here. Exile a card from your graveyard, a creature card from your graveyard, make it zombie. Okay. So we're just going to play this. Didn't draw the land, but we did draw a veteran, which allows us to attack with Fervent Champion here. Bloodstone Champion can't block. Attacking with Graveyard Marshal, no blocks. They probably have a removal spell here. This is bad. So they have a Fatal Push. Yeah, if they block with Mutavault and then Fatal Push the veteran, the game is just over. We just lose. So I think we can't attack here, which is just terrible. It's just awful. But yeah, so they can fire up the Mutavault, and because they have Urborg, they can tap Mutavault for black, killing Inspiring Veteran, and just blocking our 1/1, and then the game ends. We just scoop. So we're gonna just deck and stone their Graveyard Marshal. Well, we're gonna go to combat, I guess. They know about the deck and stone. They don't know about the second one. They're just gonna fire up Mutavault in combat. Yeah, they really want to get this Fatal Push. I'm gonna deck and stone the Mutavault. I think that makes a lot more sense. They didn't have Fatal Push? That's really weird. Grasp of Darkness. I guess maybe they had Grasp. Interesting. The fact that they fired up that Mutavault so fast is weird. Going to 10. Not a great spot. We are having a lot of trouble drawing our lands here. But, I mean, our opponent has to take turns off to crack clues. Rankle. Ooh, baby. That's a bad one. Alright. That's a real bad one for us. We used both our deck and stones. We're very unlikely to draw another deck and stone. And we're just dead next turn to the Rankle. So yeah, that's the game. I guess we're gonna go 3-2 here. I don't think this matchup is that bad, but we just didn't find our third land, and that Thoughtseize was really, really good. Just cut us off our 2-drop. If we can curve out against mono black, it's not too bad. They need to have like just tons of removal, which obviously sometimes they do. I don't think that. Whoa. Okay. Well, we're not dead then. That was the only card in our deck. Well, we had 2 left in the deck that make it so we're not dead right there. So I'll take it. Mutavault's bad for us. Have to play the Benelish Marshal. Really annoying that there's an Urborg in play and we have to click all our lands like that, but such is the life of the Moto player. No, blown out. Blown out. Yeah, I mean, even killing the Rankle there, giving them a clue is obviously not ideal. And now it's pretty much over. I mean, we're at 2. They can make a bunch of zombies with Graveyard Marshal, which I haven't seen at a mono black yet. That's kind of cool. It's like a really bad scavenging ooze, I guess. Thoughtseize. Dirty. So much dirt. So much dirt. Alright, well, 3-2. We started off really strong and then petered out. So hello. Welcome to the deck tech for Boros Knights. The idea here is we're very aggressive. We're trying to play a 1-drop, play a 2-drop, play a Lord effect, and then finish them off with like another Lord effect or Gideon or History or whatever it is. No removal in the main deck. We're just all about getting them dead. We don't care what they're doing. Just curve out, kill them on turn 4. That's the name of the game here. We actually have 14 Lord effects. So we have Thalia's Lieutenant, pumps our team. Every single creature in the deck is a human other than the History of Benalia tokens, which are just knights. And actually the Gideon tokens are also just knights. But everything else is a human, including the humans that Worthy Knight makes. Now this is where the big synergies come into play. Worthy Knight and Thalia's Lieutenant. Worthy Knight makes a ton of 1/1s because we're playing all knights. Everything's a knight except for Thalia's Lieutenant. And I mean technically History of Benalia and Gideon, but they make knights. So almost everything makes 1/1s for us, and those 1/1s get pumped by Thalia's Lieutenant and also pump our Thalia's Lieutenants. So say we play a Worthy Knight on turn 2, Thalia's Lieutenant, and Venerable Knight on turn 3. We end up with a giant Thalia's Lieutenant because it gets triggered twice that turn from the one Venerable Knight, and we pump our Worthy Knight, and if we have another Thalia's Lieutenant, we can pump all those humans. It just gets crazy. Benevolent Marshal, 3/3 that pumps your team, just pretty powerful card. Fervent Champion has first strike and is great in multiples because you can just like get in there with these first striking 2/1s. Venerable Knight, another Savannah Lions type effect. When it dies, you put a +1/+1 counter on a creature. Just pretty solid. Savannah Lions upside. Another Savannah Lions with upside. Dauntless Bodyguard here. Inspiring Veteran, a Night Lord. Knight of the White Orchid, first striking knight that also is really, really powerful when you're behind on lands, which is most games when you're on the draw. And this deck is playing 22 lands, so we're not always going to be behind on lands on the play, but sometimes, you know, we'll get stuck on 2, and this guy can fix us up, get us that 3rd land so we can play the Benevolent Marshal, the History. So technically we have like 18 Lord effects actually, because History of Benalia pumps all our knights after 2 turns. But then the sideboard, we've got Deck and Stone, just a really good white removal spell. We could have played some red removal, like maybe Lava Coil or something like that. I'm not sure that Deck and Stone is just better. It could have been like 2 Deck and Stone, 2 Lava Coil. For this league, we went with 4 Deck and Stone. Not 100% sure. We weren't supposed to play like Lava Coil or something like that, but it worked out all right. The aside's going to be for the mono white matchup. You're going to tag a Heliod with this and get all their Heliods out of their deck and out of their hand, which is pretty awesome, and graveyard even, which is relevant actually because they usually play Elspeth Conquers Death and get back Heliod sometimes with it. Getting into the trial is going to be for Inverter, and in general it could be decent against like Orzhov Auras or any deck that's like playing 1 giant creature. This is pretty good against, but I generally only bring it in against Inverter and probably Auras. Boros Charm is going to be really good where you need that extra reach. In general, it's probably just going to be decks with mass removal spells, because the mode on this that you're going to use the most is permanents you control gain indestructible until end of turn. So they're gonna Supreme Verdict, and you're just gonna give all your stuff indestructible and just win the game on the following turn. Whenever you can, you want to hold this up against blue-white, and you're going to bring in all 4 of them against blue-white. If your opponent shows you that they're playing Ritual of Soot or Anger of the Gods, stuff like that, bring in Boros Charm and try to save all your creatures. Damping Sphere is for Lotus Breach, and then we've got a couple Wear and Tears. Just a really good card. Some matchups it actually hits 2 things, like against mono white. Devotion, you can actually tag like an Arcanist Owl and a Stasis Snare with this, which is pretty awesome. You can tag a Walking Ballista and a Stasis Snare, Baffling End, whatever you want. Kind of cool in that matchup. Also, just sometimes you need a shatter, sometimes you need a tear, you need to kill an enchantment. But yeah, that's the deck. Pretty powerful. We went 3-0 into 3-2. We lost to green-black Stompy, which is what we played last week. And Great Henge just kind of got us. And then we lost to mono-black aggro. Just too many removal spells, and we just couldn't get there. But really fun deck. Gets them dead real quick. And yeah, I think you'll like it. Give it a shot. See y'all next week. And you can catch me on Twitch all week. Social distancing. I'm not going to any GPs because they canceled them all. So I will be streaming a bunch in the coming week. So come check me out and hang out on stream if you like the videos. See you next week, y'all.